Thank you for joining us. Today, everyone is a Spartan. Several university leaders will be sharing with you the way MSU is moving forward in support of our students, our faculty, and our staff. And our leadership teams have been meeting daily and will continue to do so as we continue to work through the challenges and lower the hurdles that our community faces. We had funerals yesterday for Brian Frazier and Alexandria Werner, and the funeral for Ariel Anderson will be in a few days. And we continue as a community to hold the families in our hearts as they remember and celebrate their loved one's loss and grieve that loss. We have 4 students that remain in critical condition and 1 in stable condition. We've not publicly confirmed the names of these individuals because that is university policy to allow the families to be dictating that information. We do continue to receive updates on the students from the hospital, and our hearts continue to be with them and the faculty and staff at Sparrow. We're grateful to our faculty, staff, and academic staff and our support staff, as well as our students, for their grace and dignity in this last week. We're also very grateful for the overwhelming support that is poured around from around the country, the state, around the U.S. We have alumni wanting to help us that are from far and near, and they've been donating to our Spartan Strong Fund, which has raised over $250,000 with about 2,000 students donating in just a few days. The university has arranged to cover for funeral costs as well as the hospital bills for the injured students. The Spartan Strong Fund has been created to provide support for the continuing needs of the individuals most critically impacted. The fund will also be used for students, faculty, and staff counseling and campus safety enhancements. So on behalf of the university, I thank you for the generosity by so many. Speaking of generosity, today is an unbelievable event that's happening across our campus that is organized by one of our graduate students, Emily Dahman. It's called Spartan Sunday. She's organized volunteers to hand out gift cards and food and flowers, and I also saw Tide and blankets, and there are a lot of dogs out there. We are so proud of her and the spirit of our Spartans who are showing care for each other in little and big ways. You'll also hear today about the counseling efforts that have been progressive and the trainings that we have provided to our faculty as they re-engage with our students in the classroom, as well as the thousands of support staff employees who have had critical roles in every corner of the university and are essential to our collective success. Our students and coaches, student athletes and coaches discussed how they might approach their scheduled athletic events, and with courage and empathy, they made the decision to fully engage in several athletic events, including women's and men's basketball yesterday in East Lansing and Ann Arbor, and hockey and other competitions that took place outside of Michigan. In each case, the Spartan community has been embraced by our host solidarity, and that heartfelt humanity is one that we must not just cherish, but we must foster. Our team and our Spartan nation won because we were together and took the next best step in camaraderie as a human team. We've also come together around the arts with images and chalk and other medium all across our campus, one of which read, "May love be what you remember most." We have nearly 50,000 students in MSU, and they may need 50,000 different approaches and ways to support them. Same is true for our 15,000 faculty and staff. Our campus is here in East Lansing, it's in Grand Rapids, it's in Flint, it's in Detroit, and through Extension and our health sciences, we have practices across, touches across all 83 counties of Michigan. And we have over 500,000 alumni around the world. And for all of us, grief is a profoundly personal thing, and we know that healing will not be swift, so our work must be to enable the academic options, the athletic and club sporting events for teams, gathering for fans, venues for the arts, activities for those who are in our community, and in so doing, we will create a compass point to our true north, even as the individual maps, even as our individuals map out their next best steps. We all share in grief and loss, and we know that we must replace the chaos of last Monday with the possibility for change in our world through compassion for all, collaboration, and educational continuity. I will introduce our interim provost, Thomas Yaitzko, and then hear from the remainder of our speakers. And so I want to just once again, in closing, thank every member of our first responders, our media, our leadership team, our tremendous students, faculty, staff, alumni, our board of trustees, and community members. Everyone continues to work through their own process and is contributing in their own way, whether a good thought sent upward or the delivery of cookies and comfort food to residences and dorms. We're a community that is strong, not as a reaction, but as a statement of purpose and principle. Spartan strong is who we are, and Spartans cry, and Spartans hug, and Spartans' hearts are broken, but not our Spartan will. And we will grieve, and we will mend. And today, we reclaim our campus and our lives on behalf of our Spartan community. Today, everyone is a Spartan. Provost Yaitzko.
Thank you, Teresa. I'm Thomas Yaitzko. I'm the interim provost and executive vice president for academic affairs. Let me begin by thanking President Woodruff for her leadership as well as her guidance in these matters, and add to that also my sincere thanks to the first responders. Leadership of faculty and students and academic leadership in the form of the deans, and also especially staff who have come together and helped us in this circumstance. One of the things that's important for us at this point in time is to recognize that coming back together is something that will help us. We're a community that was shaped around the interests of discovery and learning, and it is as a community that we will heal. We know that everybody heals at their own pace and in their own manner, and so getting it exactly right will not be possible, but we will do the best we can in support of each other. It's important also, and this is recognized by experts, that coming back into spaces that are familiar, interacting with people who are familiar, is helpful in the process of healing and grieving. So in order to make this happen, we have decided that we will return to campus, both in terms of the classroom setting as well as the regular work, come tomorrow. I'd like to emphasize that no one thinks that we're coming back to a normal week. In fact, this semester is not going to be normal. So that's an important recognition. And we've worked with academic leadership, we've worked with faculty leadership, and we've worked with student leadership to try to imagine and envision what will be needed and what might make this return possible and helpful. With respect to instructors, we've made it clear, and this was also again with their input, that what was our syllabus coming into this term is not what is going to be the syllabus coming out of it. And it should actually take an active step and recognition to take a step back to see this semester is not what anyone could have ever imagined, and to reassess what are the learning outcomes of individual courses. So what are the assignments for this week? In particular, we have asked that there be no heavy lifts. There be no attempts at making up for lost time or scrambling and doubling down for the rest of the semester. And I believe that instructors hear that and appreciate that, and it is exactly also what instructors wanted to make sure would be the understanding of what it means to come back to campus and re-engage again. So instructors have the flexibility of making these adjustments. We've asked them to extend grace, sympathy, and empathy to their students. And we also have to recognize that our faculty are profoundly affected by this. It is not easy for our faculty members either to just say, well, let's just come back. But for knowing that when you come back, you are coming back into a community. It's a community that's been shattered, and all of us have these feelings. All of us are grieving. All of us are standing by one another. We trust our instructors to make the professional decisions that they have to in this context in order to work in a manner that they can work and that they can work with students. With students, and we've also talked extensively with students about their needs, their fears, their hopes, their desire for healing. It's important that students also recognize that they will be healing in different manners, they're grieving in different manners. The timelines in which you can process some of these things are different for everyone. And things also go in cycles. You might be at a different phase or stage from the person sitting next to you. And so students also must extend themselves some grace and empathy, must adjust their expectations of what they think they might get out of the semester. We hope that students will be able to manage. We hope that they come into the community, that they rely on each other, that they rely on faculty, that they also rely on our staff, all of whom are members of this community. There are many individual student accommodations that we hope will be available, and we'll need to sort through that and see what exactly where we are and how we move forward. Some of the specific accommodations that we've been able to do centrally are that the credit, no credit option for courses will be extended through the end of the semester and will be expanded to include all undergraduate classes. I don't want any student to have to make a decision now or under any deadline, but let the semester play out, come back, try to heal, and then make that academic decision of whether the course should be credit or no credit or a regular graded course at the end of the semester. For extenuating circumstances where students really struggle and they are not able to make it, we have advisors ready to work with them to find what is the best path and what does that entail. Similarly, for extending circumstances for faculty, we make sure that they can work with their department chairs or school directors as well as their deans in support of finding what they need. There's a lot of resources available on campus, some of which will be talked about a little bit more. I'm exceptionally proud of how many resources we've been able to put together of very high quality and the dedication of all the staff and people involved in these spaces. For our employees and faculty, we have the Employees Assistance Program, and for students, we have the Counseling and Psychiatric Services. We put a webinar, had a live webinar that's been recorded and is available for faculty. We had this on Friday with two renowned experts around teaching in a trauma-informed way, especially on the first day back. That's available to faculty members. We had over 1,000 faculty members were there for the live presentation of it, and it's been downloaded many times after that. We have resources around what to say to students after a crisis, how to have discussions. There's no expectations that our faculty members will be mental health practitioners in these settings, but they will be empathetic, and each of them with their classes will figure out what are the best ways forward. We have resources that address how to change the syllabus and how to change expectations midterm, how to make allowances for that. And we have additional FAQs around support and emergency. The last thing I'd like to mention is we've had the two instances were in the MSU Union, which is at the heart of our student life, and in Berkey Hall, which is one of our largest classrooms buildings. We will not be using either of these buildings for classroom instruction for the remainder of the semester. Our staff have managed to move all of the classes, well over 300, into other spaces across campus. Classrooms where we could find them, and lunchrooms, seminar rooms, and other spaces where we needed them. All instructors have been informed where their new room is going to be. They've shared that with their students, and we've also reached out to students directly so that they know where they can go, so that they come together for us again to be a community that is around discovery and learning and now also healing. With that, I'd like to introduce you to Senior Vice President Vinnie Gore.
Good afternoon. My name is Vinnie Gore. I serve the university as the Senior Vice President for Student Life and Engagement. We're a unit of over 1,000 full-time staff and another 5,000 part-time student staff. I want to first thank everyone who's up here for all of their leadership, because what you see is a community coming together, Spartan Nation coming together, and how much we appreciate both locally, regionally, nationally, and internationally the outpouring of love and togetherness. One of the other things you've also heard, which is very consistent, is that this is a long walk to healing, recovery, and resilience. And we all do this at different paces. And we know that individually, all of our staff and students will meet this at their own pace. As we have come together through the last 6 days, the student life and engagement staff has met with the families, the affected students, the affected staff. Because when we think about this, it's not just the 8 students that were impacted, but there are concentric circles because there are friends, there are neighbors, there are roommates, there are team members, there are coworkers, all of the people who need our love. And that's what we're focused on, is giving our community their love. So as we bring people back on to campus, both living in the residence halls or eating and dining, or with the fraternity, sorority, life community, or living off campus, we're reaching out collaboratively across the institution to provide the support and assistance. As we also know that being in community is very important. Being able to meet with your friends and meet with colleagues and to talk about things is important. And so what you will hear from Dr. Travis is some of the health and wellness that we're putting together, some of the listening sessions we're having over the next weeks, not only for our community, but for parents who are impacted by this. We want to reclaim our community. We want to reclaim our campus. We want to reclaim what is uniquely Spartan spirit and who we are. There are 500,000 alumni who grieve along with us, and we thank you for your well wishes. So I appreciate everyone that's here, and I appreciate everyone who's been helpful and thankful for us and who have given us their well wishes.
Hi, everyone. My name is Joe Kovach, and I'm the ASMSU and Student Body President. I'm here to just provide an update on students right now. And frankly, students are scared, but absolutely ready to do what they can to make changes. Students have organized several protests at the Capitol and beyond, have spent countless hours organizing resources for their peers, spreading information to support our peers healing at Sparrow, and have been being there for one another. On campus, many students are ready to be back with their MSU community, back with people who have this shared experience and who understand. However, students desperately need flexibility, empathy, and options coming back to campus. Not every student is going to process or grieve the same, and they deserve as many options as possible. We are thankful for the Provost's office for working with students to enable the credit, no credit options for all classes for students. We look to our faculty to listen to their students and provide grace where needed. Many students are asking for online options for courses, and we're helping faculty provide when students reach out for whatever they may need. Students, please reach out to your advisors, your professors, your deans and counselors, and other support staff whenever you need help. We are thankful for the amount of support and resources the community and the university have provided for students in this time. Students have organized a student-led vigil this week to honor the lives of Ariel, Alex, and Brian. ASMSU has organized a student town hall for students to speak to administrators. Both of these events are on Tuesday, and we please ask that the media be extremely respectful at both of these events. Please recognize that our students are not doing well, and that we need these spaces to heal together. There are many different things that students need, and I can't speak to all of them here, but know that administrators, faculty, and staff are listening. This is our campus, and we're not letting anybody take that from us. Thank you all.
Thank you, Joe. My name's Alexis Travis. I'm the Assistant Provost and Executive Director for Health and Wellbeing for the university. The health and wellbeing response to the violence our community experienced last week started immediately after the lockdown ended. We are grateful and humbled by the outpouring of support of nearly 200 community counselors, social workers, and therapy dogs from around the state and across the country. I want to thank these community counselors, our counseling and psychiatric services, our employee assistance program, the Center for Survivors, Safe Place, Health Promotion, MSU Healthcare Psychiatry Team, and the Government Relations Community Outreach Team, and many more for their work over the last week. More than 115 mental health providers across the Big Ten have volunteered their support for our MSU counselors who need support as they continue to serve the university community. More than 1,000 people participated in a virtual Reflect and Connect session, which gave people the opportunity to come together in community with fellow Spartans experiencing a wide range of emotions. The Employee Assistance Program, or EAP, has continued to provide counseling and outreach services to MSU employees, serving 44 employees in individual counseling sessions, 20 employees in one-on-one crisis sessions, and 350 employees in outreach sessions. Since the shooting, the Counseling and Psychiatric Services has provided 318 clinical sessions to 293 students through CAPS, normal modalities, virtually, and at the Olin Health Center. CAPS has also attended more than 20 outreach events this week. From Monday night into the early hours of Tuesday, and since then, students, faculty, and staff have been requesting CAPS at various events. Counselors and psychiatrists from the University Health and Wellbeing and members of the MSU Psychological Clinic, MSU Healthcare Psychiatry, and community providers have been responding en masse. As we look towards next week, all outreach requests for counselors thus far have been staffed and are already to be deployed for Monday and Tuesday. Planning is already underway for events on Wednesday and beyond. Although it may feel challenging, it is important to resume operations and have structure and social interaction as we recover. We know everyone's experience will be different. As we continue our response, we are focused on social support and helping people to enhance their resiliency and coping skills. People may experience a range of reactions, including post-traumatic stress disorder, depression, anxiety, grief, and anger, which may decrease over time for the majority. It is important that each of us continue to take care of ourselves and take care of one another. Doing things we enjoy, fueling our bodies with food, staying hydrated, exercising, sleeping, taking care of personal hygiene are all important. Additionally, it's important to avoid excessive use of alcohol and misuse of medications. Social connectedness and a return to more routine schedule are critical to the recovery process. Research has also shown that social isolation can lead to adverse health outcomes, and I think we all saw that through the COVID-19 pandemic. A number of resources are available to support students, faculty, and staff at the moment. For students, You can access counseling services through Olin Health Center and the Counseling and Psychiatric Services, and we will be supporting listening groups across campus. We have counselors in all 5 neighborhoods. We also have the Center for Survivors, MSU Healthcare, Psychiatry, and community counselors who will be available at various locations across campus, including the Student Services Building, as needed. For faculty and staff, the MSU Employee Assistance Program and Bronson Healthcare will be offering counseling sessions in person and virtually. Group listening sessions will also be available, in addition to counselors being present in buildings where students will be reassigned to new classrooms, as you heard about earlier. And for all campus community members, you can access live and pre-recorded Spartan Resilience Program Reflect and Connect webinar sessions, which will also be available live multiple times a day. Community members can also access the Thriving Campus website to access local and virtual counseling options. And for parents and the broader community, you can go to the Hannah Community Center, which will remain open from 2 till 6 p.m. from Monday to Thursday for additional counseling services. Additional resources for parents will be announced soon. For more information about resources, visit go.msu.edu/crisis support. Lastly, I want to reiterate that this is a long-term recovery. We encourage students, faculty, and staff to reach out to us for services in the coming weeks, months, and even years. We are here to listen and to provide support. We are all Spartans, and we will recover together. Now pass over to Dr. Melissa Wu.
Thank you, Dr. Travis. I'm Melissa Wu, Executive Vice President for Administration. I'll start by saying how impressed and proud I am about how our staff have responded to support the Spartan community and each other over the past several days. Our staff are 7,300 strong and represent many diverse roles. They set up and maintain our buildings and classrooms. They're our first responders. They are the people who support our students in the residence halls. They are the people who staff our clinics. They are people who make sure that our technology continues to work, and many, many other roles that are critical to keep our university running. Since Tuesday, our teams have been on campus assessing what needs to be ready for the return of our students and resuming classes tomorrow. From classroom technology to the appropriate amount of classroom seating, the relocated classrooms are ready. However, as Interim Provost Yaitzko mentioned, we've utilized every space we possibly can. So we are asking for grace for our instructors who may be teaching in unfamiliar classrooms with unfamiliar equipment. And of course, as we know that Wi-Fi is as important as water and air to our students, our campus Wi-Fi has been tested and is going to be ready for increased utilization. Overall, our teams will be standing by and they're ready to support our students tomorrow and welcome them back. Thank you so much to the many MSU employees that have been working nonstop since Monday night. You are amazing. You are strong. You've put a great deal of work in support of operations that are absolutely critical to ensuring that our students and community are supported. We're all committed to providing the flexibility and accommodation needed for the well-being of all students, staff, and faculty. So please, please take advantage of the services available to MSU employees, such as what Dr. Travis mentioned, the Employee Assistance Program, as well as the numerous resources offered through the Work-Life Office and the Human Resources Department. To our staff, take care of yourselves and others. Remember, our community is our strength. You'll be hearing next from my wonderful colleague, Dr. Norman Beauchamp.
Thank you. My name is Norm Beauchamp. I'm the Executive Vice President for Health Sciences here at Michigan State University. In that role, I guide the 2 medical schools, the nursing school, and the clinical practice. We're very thankful that you are all here because one of the most important messages that we want to come forward is that we're mobilizing every part of the university, and we're partnering to make sure that the needs of all those that are struggling are met. We recognize that healing is a personal journey. Having others to support you can make all the difference, and we're here to walk with you where and when and how you need us. As healers and a community of healthcare leaders, providers, residents, and students, we're here to assist in the effort following the violence on our campus. Our focus and attention continues to be meeting the immediate and ongoing needs of all communities. For the health sciences community, these are campuses across the state, from Marquette to Flint to Detroit to Grand Rapids and beyond. We're grateful and proud of the residents and the faculty of the Department of Psychiatry who work swiftly to help care for students and community members at the Hannah Community Center and later in the dining halls on campus. This week, we're offering counseling until further notice at no cost to anyone that needs it, no out-of-pocket cost, through our MSU Healthcare Psychiatry Clinic. We are grateful and humbled by the outpouring of support the university has received. Beyond our own counseling and psychiatry staff, nearly 200 counselors in the community have volunteered their time. I'm grateful to our academic and clinical leaders and providers and community deans who've been in personal communication with all of our students across the state, especially for those trained to be providers. Understanding and working through their own personal trauma and grief allows them to help others. We have held listening sessions and healing hours where we could hold a space to process our thoughts and emotions together across all of our campuses, and we'll continue to listen and we'll continue to meet the needs of groups while also providing personal one-on-one care. We were able to return our third and fourth year medical students to the clinics on Thursday of last week, and we'll be bringing back the remainder of our students on Monday. Again, MSU Healthcare Psychiatry is providing crisis counseling services. For more information about the services provided, hours of operation, and more, visit MSU Healthcare's website. We join all those working to create the safest, healthiest community that is truly a thriving ecosystem of support at this time and for the future. And as you've heard from myself and my colleagues, again, we're here to make sure that no one is suffering alone. Next, I introduce Chris Rossman, our interim deputy chief, who has just been extraordinary in the work that he's done.
I apologize. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Chris Rosman. I'm the interim deputy chief of MSU Police and Public Safety. The violence that we experienced this week is hard to describe with words, and the impact will last a very long time. We have been, from the beginning, committed to sharing accurate information, timely information, transparent information. In the interest of sharing accurate information, I do want to point out that the incident that we experienced this week was isolated, and it only involved one individual who is no longer a threat to campus. Our department stands strong and prepared to protect our campus and ensure the absolute safety of all of our students, faculty, and staff, not only this week, but into the future. We have a robust and comprehensive safety and security system in place, and parts of that have been evident this week as we navigated both the initial response and the post-response. We know that there's always room to improve, and we have already begun conversations looking at comprehensive, long-term solutions to further improve safety on campus. There are many things that we are considering, and that includes building ingress, egress, access control, doors, physical security, just to name a few. But we want to make sure that anything we consider is appropriately vetted and considered and focuses on long-term comprehensive solutions and not just short-term solutions. We are all starting to heal. MSU Police and Public Safety will be part of that healing process. Our officers that responded, our officers that were involved were present at the vigil on Wednesday, and it was so moving to so many of our officers to be able to attend and grieve and start to heal with our community. I do want to reiterate that MSU Police and Public Safety and our local, county, state, and federal partners will be available now and in the future. Our department is available anytime, 24/7, and I encourage anybody in our community to contact us by calling 911 or our non-emergency numbers if you need any type of police or law enforcement response. Please do not hesitate. If something is wrong, if something feels wrong, if something just doesn't feel safe, please call us. As always, we have officers ready to respond. We respond quickly, as was evidenced on Monday, and we are well prepared to handle any incident that may come our way. So in closing, we stand together with our community. We are committed to doing what we can to provide reassurance and support and safety to our community. We are in this together. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Chief Rosman. I'd like to thank you for your leadership this past week in helping with the community and media updates on the investigation and the ongoing safety concerns. Transparency is a core leadership value for this board, and we've been pleased with the open communication provided by law enforcement and the administration. The folks who have spoken before me are an embodiment of the old adage, blessed are the flexible, for they will not be bent out of shape. They have led with a dignity and a poise and a thoughtful decision-making process that should be commended and will be commended by the board. As many have said today, we're doing our best. Please know we're doing our best. We'll make many mistakes. Most of us have not been in this situation before. We do have one person, Dr. Christina Brogdon, who was also at Virginia Tech when they had the same kind of tragedy befall their community. And so she's been given a lot of guidance. I'm appreciative of her, but we're really going through this together, hand in hand. And so for the next weeks and months ahead, please give us grace. We know this won't be easy. We promise to lead with grace and empathy and to take care of our Spartan community together. We continue to support the families of those who lost their lives and those students, families, doctors, and nurses who are at Sparrow working for their recovery of the students who were wounded. We honor and serve our campus community. We honor you. We honor you. You have shown up in ways that are remarkably helpful, thoughtful, and potent. Today's events are, I think, a needed balm for students as they come together and help each other to return collectively to campus. As Joe mentioned earlier, people grieve and react to trauma in different ways. We need to be flexible. Some will be in shock, others will be angry, disillusioned. What's needed for all our students and our employees, alumni, and those connected with them is consistent, caring support for one another. This will be true in our return to classes, labs, events, and all other settings the Spartan experience is actualized. So I want to give a special thanks to Dr. Stephanie Anthony and Dr. Karen Kelly Blake and Dr. Katie Birdsall for their leadership. There's going to be modifications and accommodations made for students who need to come back in their own ways. There is no right way, there is no one way, and the diversity of needs on our campus has actually been the strength of MSU and will continue to be attended to as we go back to campus. And I appreciate the leadership of the Academic Governance Committee and Dr. Yaitzko in making sure that every Spartan is made to feel like they're welcomed on their own time and their own pace, on their own terms. I want to also specifically thank those who reached out to me about my daughter and reached out to my daughter to make sure that she's okay. Old mentors have come to lend support to her. I just appreciate you wrapping your arms around her. I don't know. A lot of reporters have called to ask if she'll go back to class. I don't know what she'll do. We take it day by day. She'll be with me and the family in Detroit today, and we'll see how she feels tomorrow. Again, I'm just grateful that she's at a place that recognizes that everyone is a human being going through their own human experience through this tragedy, and that she'll be supported in her decision. Our MSU board is working closely with the administration on needed supports in real time, and we're discussing changes to our priorities, right? There's new priorities, so we will factor in unanticipated new needs in the coming months and during the university budget process this spring. But right now, we're more focused on the task at hand. We're making sure our students and employees feel safe in returning to our beautiful campus. It's a balance, providing safety measures while also trying to make sure that we don't diminish the freedoms that we've all been accustomed to having. It's a balance of priorities, and we'll strive to achieve in concert with MSU's leadership team as we move forward, taking it day by day. Our heads are bowed but not broken. Our spirit has been shaken. We've cried through the night, but joy comes in the morning. And tomorrow morning, we'll focus on love and togetherness. And we'll take that day and the next day and the next day as it comes, making sure that we are all together, supporting one another, loving one another, and leaning on one another. Thank you so much to the media who've been a partner in this, to making sure that everyone is well informed. And I thank you for your compassion. Many of you have been well and above what you would normally expect in terms of diligence and persistence, with a humility and a love and compassion that is so necessary at this time. And I just appreciate you. I'm going to turn this over to Emily Garant so that she can open it up for questions.
I'm going to stand over here, actually, but I'm going to help facilitate questions, and we'll have the folks go to the podium then to do the answers. So, do we have any? We'll start right here. Yep. If you could identify yourself, too.
Yeah, PJ Pfeiffer, the State News. So it's being recommended that professors grant accommodations to students syllabus-wise, but we hear a lot of students that do not feel safe to go into classrooms. Are professors being at all asked to provide hybrid options or attendance leniency for students who don't feel safe being in person?
Yeah, thanks for that question. So the syllabus the syllabus accommodations are around things like deadlines, midterm exams, learning outcomes, and these type of things. The accommodations you're talking about right now are also available. On a case-by-case basis, individuals should be reaching out to their instructors. Some courses lend themselves to that type of option, some do not. And so it'll all depend on these instances. But all faculty have been asked and instructed to make sure that they will engage with their students around these type of questions, and that they engage in a manner that is empathetic and appropriate for the circumstances.
Talked about safety for the community. Obviously, we don't want to be jeopardizing those safety plans or anything that is meant to be not seen but present. But can you just, for families out there who are wondering, what can you tell them tangibly? What changes have been made to make this a safer campus for tomorrow?
Yeah, I appreciate the question. It's about, safety moving forward and how to ensure the safety on campus. And you know what, to be honest, we haven't made a lot of changes, okay? We're aware. We feel that we have a robust response in place, a robust system in place, that we are adequately prepared to respond to any needs on this campus. Now, with that being said, there may be an increased visible presence on campus this week of law enforcement, with some of our partners as well, providing an extra visible presence because we have listened to our community and we know that some people just want to see extra police as well. So we will have that on campus. But there are so many things that go on every day, like you pointed out, that are both seen and unseen that we do to protect this campus. And all I can do is to look the students, to look the parents in the eye and tell them and to reassure them that we are absolutely committed to ensuring the overall safety on this campus now and in the future. And we will, if we need to change, we will change. But we have a very good system in place right now and we'll continue to move forward.
And then an investigative question for you. So we spoke with an assistant professor, Mark Diaz, who says he was teaching at Berkeley Hall. 7 of the 8 students shot, including Alexandria Turner and Ariel Anderson. Wondering if you could confirm that. And then off of that, from one of the funeral services, it sounded like Brian was working. And if the bit about the classroom is true, that he was in the student union. Can you tell us where he was working in that space?
Yeah, so the question is about the specific scenes and where the students were located. And, what I'll do at this point is say that the purpose of this conference today was really to highlight the measures that are being taken to bring students back to campus. We're not necessarily prepared at this point to give any type of investigative update today. As you can imagine, our officers, our investigators have worked around the clock this week, and some of them are enjoying we have allowed them to take some time off this week to take a collective breath, to refocus, to come back next week, so we can sit down and start going through those details. And that question is, I don't have the answer to that right now, but we will sit down this week and we'll start processing the details a little bit more and see what we can share moving forward. But I don't have an answer for that right now.
Just lastly, for either the provost or the president, I don't know who would be better to answer this, but you talked about the students coming back to class tomorrow. And I understand we can't confirm these details, but we know obviously at least some students would have been closer than others to what unfortunately unfolded on Monday night. Are special accommodations above everything else being made for the students and the faculty who were in the same room as the gunman at any point?
The short answer on that is yes. We've identified all of the students that were directly impacted. We also know which ones were more largely impacted because of the areas they were in, the proximity. And I know that Alexis Travis and her team are also working specifically with those. I think Venny might be able to add a little bit more detail to that.
Yeah, just to clarify on that, will those students be in class tomorrow? Will those classes resume tomorrow as well?
That will be an individual decision with those students.
The classes will resume,
Yeah, the classes will resume.
but the students will have to make their
Yeah.
decision around that.
Yeah, we do know that there were students in the classroom and students joining to the classroom. And there were students who were in the union at the time, and we have identified those particular students. And so we have a team that is going to be working directly with each one of those students for their various different needs, whatever that may be. And so, yeah, their class will meet, yes.
Chief Butler, WILX. You had the plan for the cameras in place after Brandon Sancho witnessing the camera that was seen and wasn't working on trying to get that, like the screening of it kind of in place. Has that timeline moved up after this incident in case there's another one in a couple of years?
Yeah, thanks, Cody. So the question's just about security cameras in general and kind of the comprehensive security system we're moving towards. And that is still in progress. What I will point out is we currently have thousands of cameras on campus that are currently operational. The change that you are speaking to, that we've been talking about for a while now, is those cameras becoming more integrated into a comprehensive security system that integrates access control and cameras together. So it's more on the back end. It's more how those feeds are pulled together and how that system is utilized. So that remains in progress. There's external consultants, there's contractors, and we are actively moving forward with that process, I'll say, to enhance our current system. But all of the cameras that we have in place are operational. We evidenced that on Monday with one of those cameras capturing the shooter. As we move forward with that process, we will also identify if there are additional locations that could benefit from the installation of additional cameras as well. So that's a separate component as we move forward. But that comprehensive safety and security system it is moving forward at a fast pace, but it's very complex, it's a process, and it's currently in progress.
Do you have a timeline on when that will kind of be ready, or that everything will be integrated?
So I'm not prepared to discuss the timeline on that right now. I know it depends on several factors, the procurement of certain systems and the identification of an integrator to contractor for that whole process. But again, I think it's important to highlight that it's a process. It's moving forward, it's in stages, and it's moving forward as fast as it can at this point.
Hi, Crystal Nurse from Lansing State Journal. In a couple of weeks, there will be spring break. So did the university administration, did you at all consider closing school until after spring break? Or like what, help us know like what led into opening campus so soon on Monday opposed to waiting the extra 2 weeks or 3 weeks as it will be?
So I think we've tried to convey a little bit that us returning to courses and classes on Monday is not a resumption of normal operations. It is a coming together, and it is making adjustments and allowances for that. An alternative of staying closed for 2 weeks would have meant, if you include spring break then, that students would have been away after this in excess of 4 weeks in total. We know through mental health experts, and we know from others who've unfortunately walked in these shows before us, that coming back together as community is a very important thing for the healing of the community for many. There are some who will heal differently and who will feel differently about this, and any decision we make will not be the best for everyone. But we do hope that we have enough flexibility, and one of the most important things is that we have this opportunity to come back together again. So I hope that gives you a little bit of added context.
I'm sorry. Yeah, Ron, Bridge, Michigan. When you speak of MSU paying hospital bills, do you have clarity on whether that is before or after spending down of the funding account for several of the big spending set up?
So we're working independently of those GoFundMe accounts. Those are accounts that were put together by family and friends, and so we're working independently of those dollars.
Another question for Chief Roslin about the physical security upgrades that you're considering. You mentioned you're considering potentially access control for U.S. stores. Tell me a bit about those conversations, the time potentially getting it done, what your buildings across campus. Just tell me a little more about that.
So we currently have access control installed on every building on campus. So we have a system, a comprehensive access system in place that is able to lock, unlock buildings on time schedules and so forth. There's a lot of consideration that goes into those time schedules of those of the doors locking and unlocking. The culture of MSU, the culture of our university has been that this is an open university. It's a public university, and so a lot of our buildings are unlocked during business hours, and they secure after hours when they're closed using that access control system. What I will highlight is that our residence halls, any building that is not open to the general public, especially where our students live and reside, has additional access control and requires multiple layers of security to get into those residential wings. I think the conversation about should time schedules change, should buildings be open, unlocked during business hours, that when we talk about this our solution needs to be comprehensive and long-term and involve several partners coming to the table. That's what I'm referring to. It's not as easy as flipping a switch. It's a culture change. It's a process of having an ID with you, deciding which exits and exits need to be locked during which hours. So those conversations are actively occurring right now. Fortunately, we do have technology in place that's able to act quickly once those decisions are made.
I'm not sure who to speak to this. For students that find it just unbearable, impossible to come this semester or maybe this year or maybe come back at all, is there any talk about how students can maybe get a break for a semester or get some sort of tuition reimbursement to then come back or put a pause or transfer? What are the avenues students have to just find this impossible? Go for it.
Yeah. So thank you for that question. Yes, so if students feel that they do not want to come back, they can contact our Office of Student Support and Accountability, and there are mechanisms for them that we will wrap around to make sure that happens in a very easy and caring way.
Any other questions? We'll wrap up here. Crystal?
Friday, State News put out that the students were given these passes that had, that told them not to speak with media only if they were faced with many of these unfortunate questions and were exposed to trauma. How is the university itself reaching down to those students who have said that they have unfortunately had bad run-ins with the media or have gone to the fact that they need to use these pamphlets, whether they are physically handed out at 1866, my bad, or on their phones, as to, like, given the fact that they've had these experiences to the point where the university has had to step up for them?
Well, thank you for that question. I also appreciate that the media is respectful of our students, and I've been in conversation with ASMSU President Joe Kovac, and we appreciate her leadership on this. And so we are asking for respect of all of our students, and we have intervened, including yesterday at one of our basketball games, to make sure that our students feel safe and comfortable in the spaces with each other in order to go through the ordinary days of their lives. And so those buttons are meant to help all of you know and respect their needs in this time. And as students' needs come forward to us, we will help wrap around care for those who feel that their lives and their grief has been invaded. And so we have support through Dr. Travis that would be enabling to those better outcomes for our students.